Greetings, fellow travelers of the night. Welcome to the Cosmic Owl channel. It's wonderful to have you with me on this journey tonight.
I have spent decades watching the skies, witnessing the familiar comets come and go like predictable guests returning home. But 3I Atlas, the visitor that arrived today, November 2nd, 2025, it moves with a strange light, unlike anything that belongs here. The familiar stars hold their positions, a silent clockwork map that I've come to trust over the course of my lifetime. It is a tranquility born of immense age, a stillness that we, in our brief lives, mistook for an unchanging, permanent reality. And then, this new light appears, cutting across the established patterns with a trajectory that defies our solar system's logic. It brings a feeling I have not felt in many years, a profound sense of encountering the truly unknown, the truly alien. Our automated systems flagged it first, an anomaly in the data stream that could not be reconciled with known orbital paths. It shines without the faint, dusty tail of a typical comet, yet it is brighter than any dormant asteroid we have tracked at this distance. We are so accustomed to our own cosmic neighborhood, to the rules of our home, that we forget the universe is vast and chaotic. Perhaps the arrival of 3I Atlas is a quiet reminder that our quiet corner of space is, and always has been, a crossroads. The designation 3I confirms its status, the third confirmed interstellar object, a visitor from beyond the sun's gravitational embrace. The first was Oumuamua, a dark mystery. The second, Borisov, a familiar comet. But this third one, is different again. It feels less like a coincidence now, and more like the opening of a curtain, revealing a cosmos far more active than we believed. The universe is not just sending us messages, it is sending us messengers, pieces of other worlds drifting past our shores. Every major telescope on Earth, and in orbit, is now turning its gaze toward this single enigmatic point of light. What secrets does it carry from its journey through the long, silent darkness between the distant stars? There is a strange intimacy in this moment, in realizing this object has traveled for millions of years to pass us by. It is a fleeting encounter, a ship passing in the night, yet it changes our perception of the ocean forever. The initial reports from the orbital arrays are focused entirely on its velocity and vector, the mathematics of its journey. It approaches at a speed so high that it could only have originated from a system far beyond our own sun's influence. I recall the quiet excitement when we found Oumuamua, the sense that we had finally touched something from outside. Now that feeling is replaced by a deeper contemplation. The outside is becoming a familiar, tangible place. The news agencies are just beginning to pick up the story, using technical terms that fail to capture the gravity of this. How do you explain to a world obsessed with borders that the ultimate border has just been crossed again so effortlessly? We build walls and draw lines, while entire worlds drift past us, completely indifferent to our small definitions of territory. This object is a testament to a larger reality, one that does not require our permission or our understanding to exist. My instruments focus on the hard data, filtering out the noise, trying to find the signal within the silence. The light, it does not flicker or vary in the expected way. It holds a consistency that is almost unnatural. It makes one feel incredibly small, not in a frightening way, but in a way that clarifies our true scale in the cosmos. We are not the center of the story. We are merely the ones who have, for a brief moment, learned to read the page. The object is currently passing inside the orbit of Jupiter, its trajectory bending slightly as it acknowledges our sun's gravity. It will not stay long. By our calculations, it will be gone, flung back into the interstellar void within 18 months. We have such a short window to understand this traveler, a fleeting moment to ask our questions before it disappears forever. It is the universe's oldest story, a brief connection, followed by an eternity of silence and the memory of what passed. The observatory is quiet tonight. The only sound is the slow turning of the great dish, tracking its silent passage. What star system did it come from? What forces ejected it on this journey across unimaginable gulfs of space? I think of the incredible loneliness of that journey, a solitary piece of rock and ice drifting through the absolute dark. Perhaps all things in the cosmos are just searching for a gravitational anchor, a place to call home even for a moment. The data continues to stream in, confirming the anomaly. This is not just another object. This is an event that forces us to update our models, to question our assumptions, and to simply watch in awe. It reminds me of my first nights at this observatory, when every flicker of light held the promise of a new discovery. That childlike wonder never truly leaves. It just waits patiently for the universe to present something worthy of its return. The focus of our team now shifts from detection to characterization. We must understand its composition. This is where the true mystery begins, as the light it reflects does not match our extensive libraries of known materials. It is like receiving a letter written in an alphabet we have never seen. We see the ink, but the message is beautifully obscure. The cosmos does not owe us clarity. It only offers us clues, fragments of a much larger, unspoken narrative. This object is large, estimated to be several kilometers in diameter, significantly larger than Oumuamua's slender profile. A body that large, traveling that fast, carries immense kinetic energy. It is a bullet fired from a distant galaxy. We are fortunate that its path is one of observation, not of intersection. A reminder of the fragility of our own world. The void is not empty, it is full of such travelers, and we are just a small, sunlit island in a vast, moving ocean. The media is beginning to speculate, as they always do. They are searching for sensational headlines, for easy answers. But what if the truth is not sensational, but simply profound? What if it is just a rock, but a rock that changes everything? As an observer, my duty is not to speculate, but to witness, to record the facts of this encounter with humble precision. Because in the end, this data will outlast all of us, a single entry in the logbook of humanity's conversation with the universe. Tonight, the air is cold and clear, the dome is open, and the faint, anomalous light of 3I Atlas is being captured. It seems to look back. A solitary eye passing through our domain, seeing us as we see it. A small point of light in the dark. The silence of the observatory feels different tonight. It is not an empty silence, but an expectant one. We are listening, and for the first time in a long time, it feels as though the universe is actively speaking. Let us move to the orbital data, the core of this mystery, as outlined in the confirmed observation reports. This is the true fingerprint of the object, the undeniable proof that it is not one of our own. It's a strange feeling to look at a set of numbers and feel a sense of dislocation, a vertigo of cosmic proportions. These are not just numbers, they are the abstract shadow of a journey that dwarfs all of human history. A typical comet from our Oort cloud, our solar system's distant reservoir, travels on a vast but closed ellipse. It is bound by the sun's gravity. It is astray, but it is still a member of the family, destined to return. We understand these comets. We have seen their predictable looping paths for centuries. They are part of our story. They are the dust and ice from which our own worlds were formed, ancient echoes of our own beginning. The trajectory of 3I Atlas, however, shows an eccentricity greater than one, a definitive hyperbolic path. This is the cold, hard mathematical proof. It is not bound to our sun. It is falling past us and will never return. It is a path of profound, irreversible loneliness, a one-way ticket through 1,000 empty solar systems. It reminds us that the universe is defined not by stillness, but by constant, relentless, and indifferent motion. Its velocity is staggering, far exceeding the solar escape velocity at its current position. It is not being captured. This implies it was ejected from its home system with incredible force, perhaps by a giant planet or a binary star interaction. We are, in essence, observing the debris from a gravitational event that happened millions of years ago, hundreds of light years away. The light we see is an ancient memory, and the object itself is the physical remnant of a long-forgotten celestial drama. Unlike a typical Oort cloud comet, which is nudged gently inward, this object entered our system at high speed. It wasn't pulled in, it was simply passing by, and our sun's gravity is merely a temporary detour on its endless path. It's humbling to realize that our entire solar system is just a small obstacle, a brief gravitational eddy in a vast interstellar river. And now, more and more debris from that river is beginning to wash up on our shores, demanding our attention. The orbital inclination is also extreme, suggesting it did not originate from the ecliptic plane where our planets reside. It plunged into our system from above or below, a path that further isolates it from any local origin. This object has never known a sun like ours. It has never felt this warmth, this proximity to a star. Perhaps this brief encounter with our light is the most significant event in its billion-year journey through the cold. The data is unambiguous. The scientific community is in full agreement on this single point. It is not from here. This confirmation, this simple fact, opens a floodgate of new questions that are far more difficult to answer. As I track its path across the monitor, I feel a connection to the astronomers of old who first mapped the planets. They were mapping the boundaries of our home, and we are now mapping the pathways that connect our home to the outside. The orbital mechanics are precise. We can predict exactly where it will go, how our sun will bend its path. But we cannot predict where it came from. The galaxy is too vast, the timeline too long. Its origin is lost to time. It is an orphan of the cosmos, its parent star unknown, its history written in the cold language of its velocity. Maybe all things, from dust to galaxies, are just searching for the gravitational center they lost long ago. This confirmation of its path is the first pillar of our investigation. The second pillar is its composition. If the orbit tells us where it's from, the light it reflects might tell us what it is. And this is where the data shifts from being profound to being deeply, profoundly unsettling. The universe rarely offers simple answers. It prefers to answer a question with a dozen deeper, more complex ones. We are moving our focus now, away from the mathematics of its orbit to the physics of its strange light. Why does it shine with such a steady, unusual brightness, lacking the telltale signs of a comet's gaseous veil? It's a puzzle that challenges the core of my experience, making me question the very categories we use to define the cosmos. Perhaps our categories of rock and ice are too simple for a universe that has had billions of years to experiment. The initial spectroscopic analysis from the orbital telescopes was released just hours ago on this day, November 2nd. The entire observatory staff gathered around the main screen, waiting for the graph to resolve from the incoming data. A familiar tension filled the room, the same quiet anticipation I have felt before every major discovery. It is the moment where human curiosity reaches out across the void, hoping for a clear answer to echo back. The data resolved, the graph appeared, and the room fell into a deep, analytical silence. There were no strong absorption lines for water ice, none of the expected signatures for carbon monoxide or dioxide. It was as if we were looking at a clean reflection, a spectrum stripped of the volatile compounds that define comets. The universe had sent us a message, but the page was written in an ink we did not recognize. A typical comet, when warmed by the sun, releases these ices, creating a vast glowing coma of gas and dust. This coma is what we see, what we analyze. 3I Atlas has a coma, we can see it, but it's not made of the usual stuff. This absence is more profound than a strange presence would be. It's a puzzle defined by what is missing. Sometimes, the most important information is found in the silence, in the gaps between the expected notes. So if it is not ice, the logical alternative is that it is a rocky body, an interstellar asteroid. But that explanation also fails. The object is simply too bright. It reflects far too much light for a dark, rocky surface. It has the brightness of an active comet, but the spectral signature of nothing we have on file. It is a paradox, a traveler that wears the mask of a comet, but has the heart of something else entirely. The term strange light from my initial observation was more accurate than I knew. It is, quite literally, an unknown light. Could it be coated in a material we haven't considered? A form of exotic ice, or perhaps a metallic reflective surface? The human mind dislikes uncertainty. We rush to label things, to place them in familiar boxes. Comet, asteroid. But 3I Atlas refuses our boxes. It demands that we create a new one, or perhaps that we abandon boxes entirely. The light curve analysis shows it is not tumbling erratically like Oumuamua did, which suggests a stable rotation. A stable rotation, combined with high reflectivity and a lack of volatile gases. The data points do not converge. I can feel the frustration in the scientific community, a collective scratching of heads across the globe. But this is the true nature of discovery. It is not a eureka moment, but a long, patient confrontation with the impossible. The object's brightness is consistent, suggesting a uniform surface rather than one with light and dark patches. How could a natural body traveling for eons through interstellar dust and radiation maintain such a clean, uniform surface? It's a question that hangs in the air, heavy with implications that most are not yet willing to speak aloud. Silence can be a form of wisdom, a way of respecting the mystery until more data can be gathered from the void. The spectrum is almost featureless, just a gentle upward slope, indicating it reflects reddish light slightly better than blue. This reddish tint is common in the outer solar system, caused by tholins, organic compounds irradiated by cosmic rays. But if it were coated in tholins, it should be dark, very dark. Yet, 3I Atlas is remarkably bright. It is a contradiction painted across the sky, dark and bright, ancient and clean, silent and yet profoundly communicative. This light, this signature, is the second great mystery. It deepens the puzzle of its origin. If it's not rock and it's not ice, what is it? What materials can be formed in other solar systems that are not present in ours? It forces us to accept a humbling truth. Our sun's chemistry, our planet's chemistry, may not be the universal standard. There may be cosmic recipes out there that we have never dreamed of, producing objects that defy our simple classifications. The current hypothesis being floated is that it could be composed of something exotic, like solid nitrogen ice. That would explain the brightness, and it would sublimate differently than water. But it would require a very specific, very cold origin. Imagine a world so cold that the very air we breathe freezes into solid, shining glaciers, eventually cast out into the void. We are looking at a fragment of a world that is fundamentally, elementally different from our own. This is just one theory, an attempt to make the data fit our known physics. It is not yet a conclusion. And what of the other theories, the ones that whisper of artificial origins, of polished surfaces and manufactured materials? As an observer, I must remain skeptical, grounded in the data. But as a human, I cannot help but feel the pull of that profound question. For now, it remains a visitor with a strange light, a name that holds both the scientific fact and the poetic mystery. The analysis will continue. The James Webb Telescope is being repositioned to get a clearer infrared spectrum. Perhaps in that hidden light, in the heat it radiates, we will find the answers that visible light conceals. It is a slow, patient process. Science is not a flash of insight, but a meticulous, careful unwrapping of layers. And 3 Atlas is wrapped in many layers, each one more puzzling than the last. The path is alien. The light is alien. These two facts alone set it apart from all previous astronomical discoveries. It raises the question, are these objects rare, or have we simply become better at seeing them? I believe we are like a person who has lived by a silent ocean, only to suddenly begin hearing the waves. The ocean was never silent. Our senses were simply not attuned to its ancient, powerful rhythm. This leads us to the context of this discovery, to the visitors who came before, Oumuamua and Borisov. When Oumuamua arrived in 2017, it felt like a miracle, a once-in-a-lifetime event that stunned the world. It was so strange, so unexpected, that it stretched our definitions and ignited intense, controversial debate. It was the first knock on a door we never even knew existed, a faint tap from the interstellar darkness. Oumuamua was small, dark, reddish, and elongated. It tumbled through space and it accelerated. That acceleration, a tiny push away from the sun, remains its most profound mystery, unexplained by cometary outgassing. It was a ghost. We saw it only as it was leaving, a fleeting glimpse that left us with more questions than answers. It was a puzzle piece that didn't fit, a frustrating, tantalizing fragment of a story we couldn't read. Then, just 2 years later, Borisov arrived, and it was the exact opposite. Borisov was, by all measures, a perfectly normal comet. It had a visible coma, a tail, and a familiar chemical signature. It was reassuring. It told us that other solar systems make comets just like ours. It made the universe feel familiar again. Borisov was the answer to Oumuamua's question. It normalized the event, suggesting Oumuamua was the exception, not the rule. And now, today, 3E Atlas arrives, and it shatters that fragile peace. It is not a dark, tumbling mystery like Oumuamua. It is not a familiar comet like Borisov. It is a third category. It is a large, bright, stable object with an unreadable chemical signature. It has forced the door open wider. The universe is not just diverse, it is profoundly, wildly creative in its expressions of matter. 3 visitors, 3 completely different profiles. This is not a coincidence. This is a data set. And the data set implies that the interstellar medium is populated by a vast array of objects, from common comets to baffling anomalies. I feel a sense of gratitude to be alive in the era where our sky has opened, where the outside has become here. We are no longer an isolated island. We are part of an interstellar archipelago, and the currents are finally bringing us news. 3 Atlas is significant not just for what it is, but for what it represents, the normalization of the interstellar encounter. How many have passed us by unnoticed before our telescopes became sensitive enough to catch these faint, fast-moving ghosts? It fills me with a sense of lost opportunities, of all the silent messages we must have missed in the decades past. But one cannot dwell on the silence of the past, only on the clarity of the present and the potential of the future. And the future, it seems, will be full of such visitors. Our sky is becoming a busier, more interesting place. This object, 3I Atlas, is a puzzle. Its orbit is a fact. Its light is a mystery. And as I sit here, reviewing the data from this morning, I'm reminded that the story is still being written. We are not at the end of the chapter. We are at the very beginning of a much larger and stranger book. The context is set. We have an object that is undeniably alien to our solar system, with a profoundly strange composition. This alone would be the discovery of the decade. But the updates from November 2nd, they complicate everything. This is the part of the story that makes the hair on my arms stand up, the part that my rational mind struggles to accept. Because this is where the object stops being a passive piece of rock and starts to become something else. I am looking at the telemetry from the Deep Space Network, which tracks orbital paths with millimeter precision. And the data, confirmed just this morning, shows a slight but unmistakable change in its velocity. A change that cannot be explained by our sun's gravity or the pull of Jupiter or any other planet. It is accelerating, gently, just as Oumuamua did. But this time we have a problem. The acceleration for Oumuamua was theorized to be outgassing, plumes of gas pushing it like a tiny rocket. But 3 Atlas has no gas. The spectrum is clean. There is no water, no carbon, no propellant to explain the push. This is the heart of the paradox. It is accelerating without a visible engine. It is moving without propulsion. It is a ghost ship, catching a wind that we cannot see, propelled by a force we cannot name. The scientific community is scrambling. The forums are silent. This is the kind of data that breaks theories. Is it solar radiation pressure? A solar sail? But the object is rotating, not holding a stable attitude. And its surface, while bright, does not seem efficient enough to catch the faint push of sunlight at this distance. We are left with a chilling realization. We are observing an effect without a discernible natural cause. This is the update from November 2nd. This is the moment the story turned. What is this object? A natural phenomenon we have never encountered, or something else? My hands are steady on the controls, but my mind is racing, trying to find a logical path through this impossible data. This is the true terror and beauty of science, the moment when the universe refuses to conform to your expectations. The acceleration is tiny, a few millimeters per second squared, but it is constant and it is real. It is not behaving like a dead rock, it is behaving like something active. And as I sit here, in the quiet of the dome, I am forced to confront the implications. The visitor that arrived today is not just a passive piece of debris, it is a mystery that is actively deepening. Now we must return to the spectrum of light, armed with this new, disturbing fact. A clean spectrum, no outgassing, and yet it pushes itself forward. How? It is so difficult for the rational mind to make the leap, to consider the hypothesis that was once pure fiction. But the data does not care about our comfort. The data simply is, and we must follow where it leads. The brightness of 3I Atlas, that steady, unwavering glow, now seems less like a reflection and more like a clue. What if the brightness is not from its surface, but from the mechanism itself? An energy leak? A form of propulsion? These are dangerous thoughts for a scientist. They are the language of speculation, not observation. Yet, when all natural explanations fail, perhaps the unnatural one is the only one that remains on the table. The light, it is not just reflected sunlight. We have detected a faint, almost imperceptible emission signature. A tiny spike in the microwave range, so weak that it was initially dismissed as instrumental noise. But it is not noise. It is correlated perfectly with the object's rotation. It is broadcasting. A faint rhythmic pulse, a heartbeat from a visitor that should not have one. This is the update that has not yet reached the media. This is what the silence in the forums is truly about. The object is accelerating, and it is emitting a faint, artificial-seeming signal in the microwave spectrum. I feel a cold, profound stillness settle over me. The implications of this are difficult to hold. This is no longer a rock. This is not a simple comet. This is a contact of a kind we were not prepared for. The signal is not complex. It is a simple beacon, a carrier wave. It contains no message, only the fact of its own existence. Is it a navigation beacon, a piece of ancient derelict technology still broadcasting its presence? Or is it aware? A probe, awakening as it draws near the warmth of a star, announcing its arrival. These are the questions that will define this generation of astronomy, and perhaps all of human philosophy. The strange light is therefore a combination of two things: high reflectivity and this faint internal emission. This object is a hybrid, part natural, part something else, a technological fossil perhaps. It makes me think of a shipwreck, a lost vessel from an unknown civilization drifting for eons in the cosmic ocean. And we, on our small island, have just spotted it on the horizon, a dark, silent shape that should not be there. The lack of a gaseous coma now makes perfect and terrifying sense. It isn't outgassing. The acceleration must be coming from another source, a drive perhaps, or a reaction to the sun's energy we don't understand. My role as the elder observer has been to watch, to record, and to interpret the natural universe. But 3I Atlas is challenging that role. It is forcing me to consider the possibility of the unnatural universe. The object is bright because its surface is not natural rock, or it is being illuminated by its own faint power source. The spectrum is clean because it is not a dirty snowball. It is something else, something constructed, or at least altered. It is a profound moment when the data forces you to abandon all your comfortable, lifelong assumptions. This is the true humility of science, not in knowing, but in the willingness to unknow. The implications are vast. If one such object exists, there must be others, billions of them. Is the galaxy filled with the silent, drifting remnants of countless civilizations that rose and fell long ago? Are we just the latest in a long line, the first to build telescopes capable of seeing the ghosts? The sky, which I knew as a place of beautiful natural laws, now feels like an ancient, haunted place. This is the core of the mystery of 3I Atlas. It is not a thing, it is a category error. It has the orbit of an interstellar object, but the behavior of a powered, or at least active, craft. And it is heading toward us, a messenger from an unknown sender, with a message we cannot yet decipher. All we can do is listen to its faint microwave heartbeat and watch its strange light against the backdrop of the familiar. The light, it has a reddish hue which is confusing. This usually means organic complex molecules. What if the surface is organic, but the acceleration and the signal are technological? A biomechanical craft. My mind recoils from such leaps, but the data leaves few pathways open for a conventional explanation. We must be prepared to accept that life and technology in the universe may not be as separate as we believe. The brightness is also not perfectly stable. There are micro-variations, a subtle flicker, almost like an engine, or perhaps like the faint shimmering glow of a city seen from a great distance at night. I am an old man. I have seen wonders. I saw the first images from Voyager, the pale blue dot. But this single anomalous light from 3I Atlas, this feels like the final, most profound revelation of my life. The puzzle is laid bare, an orbit that proves it is alien, a light that defies physics, an acceleration that defies nature, and a faint, artificial pulse that suggests intent, or at least a surviving active function. It changes the feeling of the night sky from one of passive beauty to one of active, waiting mystery. The stars are no longer just destinations, they are origins, and their children are beginning to visit. This places the previous visitors, Oumuamua and Borisov, in a new and critical light. Was Oumuamua also artificial, a derelict solar sail pushed by the sun, tumbling end over end? The hypothesis was dismissed as sensationalism at the time, but now it seems plausible, prescient even. Perhaps Oumuamua was the first sign, the warning shot, that our models of the universe were incomplete. And Borisov, the normal one, was the universe's way of lulling us back into complacency. A classic pattern, an anomaly, a return to normal, and then the true revelation, 3I Atlas. It feels like a narrative, a story unfolding in 3 acts written by the cosmos itself. And we are the audience, slowly realizing that we are not just watching a play, but are part of it. Oumuamua was small, dark, and tumbling. 3 Atlas is large, bright, and stable. They are 2 different classes of object, one perhaps a passive, dead piece of tech, the other active. The thought is chilling, that we may be looking at a functioning, non-human probe. The silence of the universe, the great silence we have always feared, may not be silence at all. It may simply be that the conversation is happening in a language we cannot hear, through objects we cannot understand. Until now, until this faint microwave pulse from a visitor with a strange light. The weight of this moment feels immense. It is the weight of history, of a paradigm shifting under my feet. My entire life has been spent cataloging the natural, and now I am cataloging the first, potential, unnatural. Borisov, the second visitor, remains the outlier in this new pattern. It was so perfectly, reassuringly normal. Or was it? Perhaps we were so relieved to see a comet we didn't look closely enough. It's a sobering thought. that our own desire for normalcy might be the very thing that blinds us to the truth. We see what we are prepared to see, and perhaps we were not prepared until now. But 3i Atlas offers no such comfort. Its data is a direct, unavoidable challenge to our worldview. It's a flagship, a herald, a messenger, and it confirms that our solar system is not isolated. This changes everything, from our search for life to our own sense of security in the cosmos. We are not alone. We may never have been. We were just unaware. The implications of this new class of object are staggering. The galaxy could be teeming with them. Why are we seeing so many now? Is it just our technology, or is something stirring? That is a question for another night. For tonight, the task is to simply accept the data. To accept that the visitor who arrived today, 3i Atlas, has brought with it a new and deeply unsettling reality. The confirmation of its non-gravitational acceleration, paired with its clean spectrum, is the central, explosive fact. It is a technology or a new physics, and either answer is world-changing. It makes me feel a profound sense of sympathy for the astronomers who first saw Jupiter's moons. They too had to accept a truth that their entire world was built to deny. So Oumuamua was the question, Borisov was the misdirection, and 3i Atlas is the answer. An answer that tells us the interstellar ocean is not just full of natural driftwood, but of ships. Some are dark and silent wrecks, tumbling through the void. Others are still faintly, inexplicably alive. And as I sit here, at the dawn of this new age, I can only wonder what will the fourth visitor be like. The data from 3i Atlas will be studied for years. Its legacy will be the end of our astronomical isolation. It confirms that the diversity of the galaxy is not limited to planets and stars, but to objects of unknown origin. It's a heavy but thrilling burden to be the generation that has to create the new maps. The old maps are gone. They were burned the moment 3i Atlas ignited its faint, impossible light. This is the context. This is the weight of the moment. We are dealing with an interstellar anomaly. An anomaly that is bright, stable, accelerating, and broadcasting a faint, rhythmic microwave signal. My entire career has led to this night, this single, quiet observation that changes the very nature of the sky. The visitor is here, and it has brought with it the most profound mystery we have ever faced. This now forces us to confront the next stage of the outline, the theories that must be considered. When the data is impossible, where does the rational mind go? What hypotheses are we forced to entertain? It is a place of discomfort, of intellectual vertigo, but it is a place we must now explore. We must follow the signal, even if it leads us into a darkness our theories never prepared us for. The community is now forced to put aside its conventional models and look at the fringe. The solar sail hypothesis, once laughed at for Oumuamua, is now the leading conservative theory. That in itself shows how far we have been pushed from our comfort zone in just a few short hours. What was once science fiction is now the most plausible, natural explanation on the table. But even that theory has problems. The object is rotating. A sail needs to be oriented. And what of the microwave signal? A sail does not need a beacon. This suggests something more. It suggests a machine, a complex, ancient, and still partially functioning machine. A relic, a messenger, a probe. The name does not matter. The implication is the same. The light, that strange, clean, bright light, it is the key. Could it be a different form of propulsion? A light sail being pushed by lasers from its home system? That would explain the acceleration, but not the microwave pulse. The pieces still do not fit. It is a puzzle made of pieces from different boxes, a chimera of physics and perhaps of biology. The reddish hue, those tholins, are organic molecules, the building blocks of life. A technological object, coated in the dust of life, broadcasting a heartbeat as it accelerates through our home. There is a poetry to it, a terrifying, beautiful, and profoundly complex poetry. It is the universe in a single object, showing us that our neat divisions between life and non-life are naive. The implications of this discovery are just beginning to ripple through the institutions. What does this mean for our own search? What does it mean for our place in the cosmos? It means, I suspect, that we have been looking for the wrong things. We've been listening for radio whispers. But the galaxy communicates in monoliths, in drifting relics, in objects that are themselves the message. The orbit is the envelope. The light is the ink, the acceleration is the signature. And the microwave pulse, perhaps that is the greeting, a simple, I am here. It is a sobering, transformative moment for an old observer like me, to realize at the end of my long watch that the most important visitor of all has only just arrived. The light's lack of water-ice signature is the most critical scientific piece of this puzzle. It means the acceleration is not a natural cometary function. It must be something else. This is the fact that divides the timeline into before 3I Atlas and after. In the after, we must accept that non-gravitational, non-cometary acceleration is a real, observable phenomenon. The brightness of the object, its high albedo, is the second critical piece. Natural objects are darkened by eons of radiation. This object is bright, as if new, or maintained. The thought sends a chill through me, that this object is not a relic, but an active, functioning something. The sky is not dead. The void is not empty. It is active, and it is visiting. The stability of its rotation, in the face of this acceleration, is the third piece. It suggests the force is being applied intelligently, or at least through a stable, engineered system. It is not a chaotic, natural push. It is a controlled, precise, and constant thrust. My God. The universe has just revealed a secret it has held for a very, very long time. The story of 3I Atlas is the story of these three impossible facts converging on this one day. An object that should not exist, behaving in a way that should not be possible. And as I log these observations, I am aware that I am no longer just an astronomer. I am a witness to the moment the boundaries of our reality were irrevocably redrawn. The light from the object continues to stream into the telescope, steady and unwavering. It is indifferent to our panic, our excitement, our profound existential crisis. It is simply passing through, a silent, luminous question mark hanging in the velvet darkness of our sky. And we, for the first time, have no answers, only a deep and humbling sense of awe. This concludes the initial analysis of its orbit and composition, the foundation of this profound mystery. The next step is to place it in context, to understand how it relates to the ghosts that came before. Oumuamua, Borisov, and now this, the family of strangers is growing. And my watch, my long, quiet watch, has suddenly become the most important vigil in human history. To truly understand the gravity of this moment, we must place it in the context of our brief, shocking history with interstellar objects. For centuries, we assumed our solar system was a closed environment, an isolated bubble in the vast emptiness of the galaxy. There was a certain comfort in that isolation, a sense that the chaos of the cosmos remained out there, far beyond our walls. That comfort was the first casualty of this new age of astronomy. The walls, we learned, were an illusion. In 2017, the first visitor, Oumuamua, was detected. It was a watershed moment for humanity. It was so unexpected, so strange that we almost missed it. We only saw it as it was rapidly heading away from us. I remember the frustration of those days, pointing our telescopes at a faint smudge of light that was already escaping our grasp. It was a greeting and a goodbye in the very same breath, a ghost ship passing in the twilight. Oumuamua's properties were baffling. It was dark, reddish, and highly elongated, shaped perhaps like a cigar or a flat pancake. It tumbled chaotically through space, and most importantly, it exhibited a non-gravitational acceleration as it left the sun. That acceleration, that tiny anomalous push, became the center of a fierce and necessary scientific debate. It was the first time data forced us to whisper the word artificial in a serious academic context. The leading hypothesis was that Oumuamua was a solar sail, a thin light craft pushed by the sun's radiation. A piece of derelict technology, perhaps, from a civilization we will never know, tumbling through our system. Others argued fiercely for natural causes, an exotic ice comet, a hydrogen iceberg, a cosmic dust bunny. But Oumuamua kept its secrets. It faded into the darkness, leaving us with only the tantalizing, unanswered question. Then, in 2019, the second visitor arrived, 2I Borisov, and it seemed to provide a comforting answer. Borisov was detected early on its way in. It was large, and it had a magnificent cometary tail. There was a collective sigh of relief in the astronomical community. It was a comet. It was just a comet. It proved that other solar systems make comets just like ours. It suggested Oumuamua was the freak and Borisov was the norm. We studied Borisov with every instrument we had. Its chemical composition was familiar, rich in water and carbon. It was a piece of another solar system, yes, but it was a piece we recognized. It was an echo, not a riddle. And so, the world settled. The Oumuamua anomaly was filed away, the solar sail hypothesis dismissed as too speculative. We returned to our comfortable assumption that the universe, while vast, is ultimately familiar and natural. And then, today, November 2nd, 2025, 3 Atlas appears on our screens. And it destroys that comfort all over again, but this time, far more completely. It is not small and dark like Oumuamua. It is large and exceptionally bright. It is not a familiar comet like Borisov. Its spectrum is clean, sterile, and lacks the very ices that define a comet. 3I Atlas is the third type. It is the visitor that fits no category. It has the anomalous acceleration of Oumuamua, but it lacks the natural excuse of outgassing. It forces us to go back and look at Oumuamua again, to reconsider the solar sail hypothesis with new, urgent seriousness. What if Oumuamua was not the anomaly but the precedent, the first sign of a phenomenon that 3I Atlas is now confirming? The context of these three visitors is a pattern of escalating mystery. 1. A dark, tumbling, accelerating object. 2. A perfectly normal, predictable comet. 3. A large, bright, accelerating, the broadcasting object. The dataset is no longer just interesting. It is deeply, profoundly challenging. It suggests the interstellar ocean is not just empty, but is full of diverse species of objects, some natural, some not. 3I Atlas is larger, and we detected it much earlier. This gives us what we never had with Oumuamua, time. Time to observe it as it approaches, as it reacts to the sun's warmth, as its faint microwave pulse continues to beat. It is a heavy, precious gift. A chance to finally ask our questions to a visitor that might, in its own way, be able to answer. The arrival of 3I Atlas does not just add to the list, it redefines the list entirely. It retroactively makes Oumuamua seem less like a freak of nature and more like a scout. And it makes Borisov seem like a cosmic coincidence, a piece of natural debris that flew by between two much stranger messengers. As an observer, I must now adjust my entire framework. My sky is no longer a two-party system of natural and unknown. The unknown has become a spectrum, and 3I Atlas is at the far technological end of it. This context is everything. It is why the data from today is so explosive. It is not an isolated event. It is the third and most undeniable piece of evidence that our galaxy is far stranger than we ever dared to imagine. It fills me not with fear, but with a profound, solemn awe, a sense of privilege to be at the telescope on this night. To be one of the first to see the data that proves our loneliness in the cosmos may, in fact, be an illusion. This object confirms that the diversity of interstellar visitors is vast. And if 3 have been seen in just the last 8 years, how many more are passing by right now in the silence? It makes the sky feel alive. Not with life perhaps, but with motion, with history, with the remnants of other histories. The universe is a library, and the books are finally, after eons of silence, beginning to arrive. Oumuamua was a torn page. Borisov was a familiar story. 3-Eye Atlas is a book we do not know how to read. A book written in a language of microwave pulses, anomalous acceleration, and light that defies our physics. And we, as a species, are like children, suddenly aware of the vast, complex adult conversation happening all around us. This is the true legacy of 3-Eye Atlas. It is not an object. It is a re-evaluation of our place in the cosmos. The three visitors form a compelling, if deeply unsettling, portrait of the interstellar neighborhood. It suggests that for every one familiar comet like Borisov, there may be other things. Things that accelerate, things that shine with a strange light, and things that broadcast their presence in faint, rhythmic whispers. My long, quiet vigil has changed. I am no longer just watching for the natural. I am watching for everything. The context is now clear. Oumuamua was the anomaly. Borisov was the red herring. 3-Eye Atlas is the confirmation. It is the object that proves the Oumuamua mystery was not a one-time event. This validation is a sobering moment. It means we have to take the fringe theories seriously. Because today, the data from 3-Eye Atlas has made them the most plausible explanations. The arrival of 3-Eye Atlas solidifies a new field of astronomy, the study of interstellar anomalies. We are no longer just comet hunters. We are something else, detectives of galactic debris. It's a strange profession to find oneself in at this late stage of my life, but a profoundly important one. The sky is full of ghosts, and we have just finally learned how to see them. The data from Oumuamua was sparse, fleeting. We were left to guess. But the data from 3-Eye Atlas is rich, continuous, and terrifyingly clear. We are not guessing this time. It is accelerating, it is broadcasting, it is not made of anything we can explain. This is the new baseline. This is the new reality that this visitor has brought to our shores. The implications for the Fermi paradox, the great silence, are profound. Perhaps the silence is not empty, but full of these objects, drifting, waiting. Maybe civilizations don't shout with radio. Maybe they build things that last for eons. And 3-Eye Atlas is just the first one we've been able to see clearly, a piece of interstellar archaeology. The object is now the most important target for every observatory on the planet. What else will it reveal as it gets closer to the sun? Will the signal change? Will the acceleration increase? We are no longer passive observers. We are in conversation. A slow, strange conversation with a silent traveler. A traveler that, by its very existence, has ended our childhood as a species. This brings us to the most critical part of the narrative, the update from today, November 2nd. The fact that changes everything, the pivot point upon which this entire story now turns. This is the moment that, as an observer, I must report with absolute clarity, free of speculation, letting the facts speak. Because the facts themselves are more profound than any fiction we could have imagined. The Deep Space Network, our most precise tool, has been tracking 3-Eye Atlas for 72 straight hours. Its purpose is to measure gravitational influence, to refine the orbital path down to the meter. The team was expecting to confirm the orbital parameters. They were not expecting this. The universe, it seems, reserves its greatest surprises for our most precise instruments. At 4:30 Universal Time this morning, the data showed a clear, persistent deviation from its predicted path. A deviation not caused by the Sun or Jupiter or any known gravitational body in our solar system. It was, as we saw with Oumuamua, a non-gravitational acceleration, a tiny, inexplicable push. This, in itself, would have been confirmation of the Oumuamua anomaly. But the story did not end there. We immediately turned our spectrometers to the object, searching for the cause. We searched for the gas. We expected to find the spectral lines for water, for carbon, for something that could explain the thrust. And this is the moment the mystery crystallized into a hard, unavoidable fact. The spectrum was clean, absolutely, perfectly clean. There was no gas, there was no propellant. This is the core of the 3I Atlas problem. It is accelerating without an engine. It is moving without a push. This is impossible under our known laws of cometary physics. This is a direct contradiction. It is a moment that chills the blood when the universe presents you with a fact that your reason cannot accommodate. A ghost ship indeed, catching a solar wind that does not exist, pushed by a force we cannot see. The acceleration is slight, but it is constant, and it is undeniable. The error bars are non-existent. So what is pushing it? What force can move a kilometer-wide object, yet remain completely invisible to our most sensitive instruments? This is where the scientific method bends, and we are forced to consider hypotheses that live on the very edge of reality. The visitor is not just passive, it is active, and this changes the nature of our questions entirely. The solar sail hypothesis is the first, most logical leap, that it is being pushed by sunlight itself. But the object is large and rotating. A sail must be thin, vast, and oriented correctly. The math doesn't add up. It would have to be an incredibly efficient, impossibly thin material, something far beyond our own engineering. So even the most natural explanation still requires an artificial and highly advanced origin. This is the box the data has built for us. There is no easy, comfortable, natural way out. And what of the microwave pulse? The faint rhythmic signal? That too was reconfirmed this morning. It is not a random burst. It is a steady, almost mechanical pulse, a beacon. A solar sail does not need a beacon. A dead rock does not broadcast its presence. We are looking at an object that is accelerating without propulsion and broadcasting without a clear purpose. This is the update from November 2nd. This is the moment the story shifted from curiosity to something else. A sense of profound existential vertigo, the feeling that we are on the precipice of a revelation we are not ready for. The visitor, 3I Atlas, is not just a rock. It is a problem, and it is a problem that is currently accelerating. The entire framework of the investigation has now changed. We are no longer just observing. We are now actively trying to understand a mechanism, a machine. The mood in the observatory is electric, not with panic, but with a quiet, intense, focused energy. This is the moment every scientist dreams of and dreads, the moment the data no longer makes sense. This, then, is the context for the mid-hook, the foundation of the great narrative explosion. We were prepared for a visitor. We were not prepared for one that behaves. It's a humbling and deeply human moment to realize the smallness of our knowledge, to stare into the great dark ocean and see something, for the first time staring back. The pulse is in the microwave band, a frequency that cuts cleanly through the galactic noise. It is an efficient, intelligent choice for a beacon, which only deepens the profound, unsettling mystery. We are so used to the silence. We have built our philosophies on the silence. And now 3E Atlas has arrived, and it has brought with it a faint, undeniable sound. The acceleration is the physical mystery, the pulse is the intellectual one. Together, they form a complete and unavoidable challenge to our understanding of the universe. This is the weight of the new data. This is the burden that 3I Atlas has placed upon us. To accept that the age of astronomical innocence is over. The visitors are here. And they are not all simple rocks. The confirmation of this acceleration, without outgassing, is the single most important astronomical discovery of the century. It opens the door to a universe where technology, or new physics, is an active, observable component. It's a lonely thought in a way, that the universe is full of the echoes of others, while we are just beginning. But it is also a hopeful one. It means that silence is not the end state, that something endures. This is the true story of 3I Atlas, not a comet, not an asteroid. It is an artifact, and it is in its own silent way alive. The elder observer persona I have cultivated is shaken. My assumptions are fractured. But this is the gift of the cosmos. It does not care for our comfort. It only offers truth. The context is set. The previous visitors were the prelude. 3I Atlas is the event. An event defined by an impossible acceleration, an unnatural light, and an artificial heartbeat. It's a new sky, a new universe, and we are seeing it for the first time. And as I continue my watch, I know that nothing from this night forward will ever be the same. We have established the baseline. The object is anomalous. The natural explanations have failed. This is the pivot. This is the moment where the story breaks open. The data from this morning, this critical update, is the dividing line. Before it was a mystery. Now it is a message, and we must learn how to read it. The next section, the mid-hook, will focus entirely on this catastrophic failure of our old models. And it will set the stage for the only explanations that remain: the speculative, the radical, and the profound. We now arrive at the critical update from this morning, November 2nd, 2025, the data that changes the entire story. For days, we have watched this object, puzzled by its light, cataloging its stable interstellar path. There was a sense of intellectual curiosity, the thrill of a scientific puzzle, but it felt manageable. We believed we were simply observing another piece of the universe's vast, natural, and inanimate machinery. That belief was shattered at 0430 Universal Time, when the Deep Space Network delivered its 72-hour tracking report. The report was stark. It showed a persistent non-gravitational acceleration. The object is speeding up. A familiar chill ran through the control room. We had seen this once before with Oumuamua. But Oumuamua was a ghost, seen only as it fled, leaving us to argue over its vapor trails. With 3I Atlas, we have a clear, unambiguous, real-time observation. The acceleration is undeniably real. The logical scientific response was immediate. Search for the cause. Search for the outgassing. We assumed our earlier spectral analysis was flawed, that we must have missed the telltale signs of sublimating ice. We wanted to find a natural cause. The mind desperately seeks a natural cause, to anchor itself against the impossible. So we pointed the Webb telescope at it again, focusing all our efforts on finding a plume of water, or carbon, or nitrogen. And this is the moment the story truly breaks. The new spectrum came back. The spectrum was not just clean, it was sterile. Absolutely no trace of volatile gases, none. It is a paradox in real time. The object is accelerating without an engine. It is being pushed without a propellant. This is the central, terrifying fact of 3I Atlas. This is what separates it from everything in history. How can a kilometer-wide body larger than Oumuamua change its own velocity with no visible means of propulsion? The silence in the control room was no longer one of anticipation. It was a silence of profound, cognitive shock. We had come face to face with an object that does not obey the physics we have built our lives upon. All the comfortable theories, they evaporated in that instant. All the easy explanations were gone. We are left staring at the impossible, an object that is not a comet and not an asteroid. It is not a dead rock. Dead rocks do not accelerate. Dead rocks do not defy gravity. This is something else, something active, something that, in its own way, is alive. The acceleration is not erratic. It is a smooth, continuous, and controlled thrust. This makes the solar sail hypothesis, the leading theory for Oumuamua, immediately problematic. A sail tumbles, or must be oriented. This object is rotating stably, yet the thrust is constant. It suggests the force is not external from the sun, but internal from the object itself. And then we re-examine the faint microwave signal we had initially dismissed as noise. It is not noise, it is a steady rhythmic pulse, a beacon, a heartbeat. My God, the object is accelerating and it is broadcasting its presence. This is the moment. The visitor is not just a piece of debris, it is a machine. This is the update from November 2nd. This is the fact that has brought the scientific world to a standstill. A kilometer-wide object of unknown origin is moving through our solar system under its own power and signaling. As an observer, I was trained to find patterns in the chaos of nature. But this is not chaos. This is order. This is the cold, clean, terrifying logic of intelligence. The acceleration is slight, but it is enough to prove without question that it is not a passive object. It is not behaving like a dead rock drifting on the currents of gravity. It is behaving like a ship, however ancient, however derelict, with its engines still faintly burning. This is the explosion in the narrative, the moment the story ceases to be about astronomy and becomes something else. The lack of a coma is the smoking gun. It is the fact that removes all natural explanations from the table. No gas, no ice, no dust, but there is a push. A constant, steady, artificial push. It's a chilling realization. We are not just observing a rock, we are observing a technology. A technology that is millions of years old, perhaps, but a technology nonetheless. We have spent decades searching for complex radio signals from distant stars, listening for a hello. We never considered that the message would not be a whisper, but a physical object. A probe, a relic, a ship, arriving in our system, accelerating and pulsing a faint mechanical heartbeat. The great silence has been broken, and 3i Atlas is the sound. This is the mid-hook. This is the turning point. The object is not natural. This fact, this single, impossible fact, now forces us into an entirely new realm of hypothesis. My entire life as an observer, as a scientist, has been reset to zero in this one profound instant. The universe I thought I knew is gone. A new, far more complex and far more active universe has taken its place. The implications of this are staggering. We are no longer just catalogers of planets. We are interstellar archaeologists, and we have just found our first active artifact. This is a moment of profound humility. We thought we were the first. We thought we were perhaps the only. And the universe has just quietly, patiently, and undeniably proven us wrong. The acceleration is small, but it is purposeful. It is not a random fluctuation. Is it a course correction, an awakening? Is it reacting to our sun, or is it reacting to us? That is a terrifying thought, that this thing is not just active, but aware. We must tread carefully, we must remain scientific, but we must also be prepared. The clean spectrum is the key. It is the lock that closes the door on all natural explanations. And the acceleration is the key that opens a new door, a door we never even knew was there. As an old man, I thought I had seen all the wonders the sky had to offer. I was wrong. The greatest wonder, the one that redefines our entire existence, has only just arrived. This data is now public. The shockwave is moving through the scientific community. What will the world do with this information? How will our cultures, our religions, our philosophies adapt? That is not my concern. My concern is the object. My watch continues. But now, I am no longer watching a rock. I am watching a visitor, in the truest sense of the word. This critical update, this mid-hook, now forces us to the next section of our story. If all natural explanations are gone, what is left? We are now entering the realm of hypothesis, but it is hypothesis grounded in this new, impossible data. We must be brave enough to follow the facts, no matter where they lead us. The object is moving faster, the microwave pulse is steady, the mystery is deepening, and we are here to witness it, the generation that was present at the moment of contact. It is a profound and heavy burden, the burden of knowledge. The sky, my familiar, friendly sky, has suddenly become a very large and very old place. The acceleration is the engine of this story, a literal engine. A silent, invisible, and utterly undeniable engine pushing a visitor from another star. And as I watch it move across my screen, I realize my life's work was just the prologue. The true story, the human story, is only just beginning. This is the core of the narrative shift. The data from today, November 2nd. It is the day we stop being alone. even if our new companion is a cold, silent machine. It is a strange and unsettling form of company, the ghost of a technology. But it is not silence. It is a pulse, and a pulse, however faint, is a sign. The next phase of observation will be to analyze the pulse itself. Is it a simple beacon? Or is there modulation? Is there a message encoded within? That is the next fear, that this object is not just active but communicative. The mystery does not resolve, it only evolves. The turning point is secure. The mid-hook is delivered. The story is forever changed. 3 Atlas is not a celestial object, it is a presence. And it forces us, its stunned observers, to ask a question we have until now only asked in fiction. What do we do now? The logical path forward, as scientists, is to formulate new hypotheses. This is where the story must go next, into the uncomfortable territory of the radical hypothesis. We must now, as a species, begin to think outside the box. Because the box itself, the comfortable, natural, predictable box, has just been proven to not exist. The acceleration is the proof, the clean spectrum is the signature. The visitor is not what we thought, and our universe is not what we thought. My watch as the elder observer has been one of quiet contemplation, but that quiet has been shattered, and contemplation must now give way to confrontation. We must confront the data, we must confront the implications, and we must confront the fact that 3I Atlas is not just a scientific curiosity. It is a historical event, perhaps the most significant in our short, fragile existence. The sky will never look the same. The report from the DSN is now being reviewed by every major government. The secrecy is over. The world is about to learn that we are not alone, and our first confirmed visitor is a large, accelerating, ancient machine. This is the new reality. This is the new world that 3I Atlas has given us. This forces us to move to the next phase of the discussion, as outlined in the approved plan. What are these radical hypotheses that we are now forced to take seriously? It is a dangerous and thrilling time to be an observer, to be on the front lines as the old world of physics crumbles. The acceleration is the mystery. The solar sail theory is the first, most logical step, a vast, thin structure pushed by the photons from our sun. But the stability of the rotation, it contradicts this. A sail would tumble. Unless the rotation is the stabilization, a spin-stabilized sail. This is now a plausible, testable hypothesis, a piece of advanced alien engineering. And the microwave pulse, a navigational beacon perhaps? It's a strange thought to be looking at the 21st century equivalent of a sextant from another star. We are children finding a complex tool on a beach with no idea how it truly works. But this is just one theory. The next is more unsettling. What if the acceleration is not a sail? What if it is a drive? A low-level ancient engine, a fusion drive perhaps, or something far more exotic. Something that is still, after millions of years, faintly burning. This would explain the thrust. It would explain the stability. And the microwave pulse? The waste heat? The engine's own operational signature? This implies it is not just a derelict. It implies it is functional. And that is a thought that is almost too large to hold. The data from today has forced us as a species to ask this question. Is 3 Atlas a functioning interstellar probe? As I sit here in the quiet of my observatory, the weight of that question is immense. The elder observer has suddenly become the observed. These are the hypotheses that we must now consider. The fringe has become the center. And what of the object itself, that reddish, organic, dusted surface? A machine coated in the building blocks of life, a biomechanical messenger? The universe is not just stranger than we imagine, it is stranger than we can imagine. The story of 3I Atlas is the story of this confrontation. This collision between our comfortable natural world and this impossible technological visitor. It is a moment that will be remembered, like the first fire or the first wheel. It is the moment we learn that the sky is not just for us. The data is solid, the acceleration is real, the spectrum is clean. This object is not a product of nature as we know it. It is an artifact, and it is my job as the observer to see it clearly, without fear, and to record the truth of its arrival. The mid-hook has been delivered, the narrative has pivoted. Now we must explore the consequences of this new, terrifying and beautiful reality. My long watch has been a lonely one, filled with the silent light of dead stars. But tonight, for the first time, I feel like we are not alone in the darkness. The next part of our story will be the human reaction, the philosophical shift. How do we as a fragile young species process this? How do we go on? The data from November 2nd has left us in an intellectually precarious position. All natural models have failed. So where does the rational mind go when the natural world no longer offers a map? We are forced, as observers, to consider hypotheses that, only yesterday, would have been dismissed as pure fantasy. This is the true humility of science, the willingness to follow the data, even when it leads you off the edge of the known world. The first, and now most conservative, of these radical theories is the solar sail hypothesis. We saw this proposed for Oumuamua, an object with a large, thin surface area being pushed by the pressure of sunlight. It would explain the acceleration. It would explain the lack of any gaseous plume. It frames 3A Atlas as a piece of technology, a derelict craft, a light sail designed by an unknown intelligence. But the theory has significant problems. The object is rotating stably. A sail would need to be oriented to the sun. Its stable rotation suggests the thrust is not coming from an external, directional source like the sun. And then there is the microwave pulse. A sail does not need a beacon, it is a passive technology. So while the sail theory is tempting, it does not fit the completeness of the data. The facts are more complex. This forces us to a second and far more unsettling hypothesis. What if the acceleration is not passive, but active? What if the object has an engine? I feel the resistance in my own mind as I articulate this. It feels impossible, but the data demands it. A stable, constant thrust with no visible propellant is the definition of an advanced drive. Perhaps it is an ancient fusion drive, still faintly burning after millions of years. Or perhaps it is a physics we do not yet comprehend, a drive that pushes against the vacuum itself. If this is true, 3E Atlas is not a derelict. It is a functional, interstellar probe. And that is a thought that changes the very foundation of our existence. In this engine model, the microwave pulse also makes a terrifying kind of sense. It is not a random beacon. It is the operational signature of the drive itself, the waste heat, the exhaust. We have been staring at the object, wondering at its pulse, when we should have been realizing we are looking at its engine. This hypothesis is elegant, it is frightening, and it fits all the observed facts. The acceleration is the thrust, the clean spectrum is the efficiency, the pulse is the engine's hum, a probe from an unknown civilization still functioning as it silently passes through our home. This is no longer a conversation about astronomy, this is a conversation about contact. And the profound, unsettling implication is that the contact is not mutual. It is simply observing us as it passes. There is a third hypothesis, one that is even more abstract. What if the reddish, organic Tholin coating is not just dust it collected? What if the object is biomechanical, a fusion of life and machine, something we have no category for? Perhaps in other, older parts of the galaxy, the division between living and built is not so clear. Perhaps the organic layer is part of the system, part of the engine, or the intelligence itself. This would explain the reddish color and the strange, clean light it emits. It is a thought that is almost poetic, a living ship plying the dark ocean between stars. But it is a hypothesis, like the others, born of the desperation of our failed models. The scientific community is now in a state of quiet turmoil. These are the conversations happening in hushed tones. Because 3A Atlas has presented us with a choice. Either our physics is wrong or this object is artificial. And in my long career, I have found that physics is rarely wrong. It is just incomplete. But an object like this is not an incompleteness. This is a direct, intelligent contradiction. We must, as observers, favor the hypothesis that fits the most data. And the hypothesis that fits is that of an active, powered, technological object. It is a lonely feeling to be forced to this conclusion. It is the end of our species' childhood. The belief that we are the only minds in the cosmos was a comforting but ultimately naive assumption. The silence from the scientific community is not one of ignorance, but of consideration. How do you announce this? How do you tell the world that the alien hypothesis is now the leading one? As the elder observer, I do not have to announce. I only have to record. And the record shows an object of intelligent origin is at this moment passing through our solar system. This is not speculation. This is the conclusion forced upon us by the data. The acceleration is the engine. The clean spectrum is the proof of its efficiency. This object, this visitor, it is not a what, it is a who. And that is the most profound and paradigm-shattering realization of all. The questions that follow from this are immense, and they are not for scientists alone. Who built it? Why is it here? Is it a probe, a messenger, or just a relic? I look at the microwave pulse, that steady, simple beat. It feels ancient. Perhaps it is just a ghost, a machine long dead, its engine still firing on the last of its fuel. A ghost ship passing us by, its beacon still flashing a warning or a memory. But the acceleration, it feels too precise, too controlled. This implies awareness, not just function, and that is a bridge my mind is not yet ready to cross. But the data is pulling me, pulling all of us toward that precipice. These are the hypotheses that now dominate our thinking. The solar sail, the active engine, the biomechanical life form. All of them are radical, and all of them are more plausible than the natural explanations. This is the new world 3I Atlas has created. A world where we must be brave enough to ask what if. What if we are not the first? What if we are not even the most advanced? The object itself remains indifferent to our philosophical crisis. It continues on its path. It is accelerating gently, as if it knows its course. It's a humbling thing to be in the presence of something so ancient and so superior. My role as observer is to document this, to be the calm voice that chronicles the end of an era. The era of our presumed solitude. That era ended today, November 2nd, 2020. And what of the object's destination? Its trajectory is precise. It is not aimed at us. It is not aimed at any planet. It is just passing through. This, perhaps, is the greatest mercy. It is not an invasion. It is just a passage. A passage that has, by its very nature, changed us forever. These are the hypotheses we are forced to consider. They are no longer fiction. They are the only things that fit the cold, hard, and insistent data. The universe is a technological place, and we are just finally seeing the evidence. This leads us away from the what and why to the us. What does this mean for humanity? What is the philosophical implication of this contact? This is the next and perhaps most difficult part of the story. Because this object is not just a scientific curiosity, it is a mirror. And what we see reflected in its strange, bright, and ancient light is our own fragility. This is the part of the journey where science must pause and philosophy must begin. As I stand here under the vast, silent dome, I feel the weight of this new, shared reality. The loneliness is gone, but it has been replaced by a new and far more profound sense of smallness. The hypotheses are on the table, and none of them are comfortable. An artificial sail, an active engine, a living ship. This is the legacy of 3I Atlas. It is the object that ended the debate. The silence is broken, and the sound is the faint microwave hum of an engine from the stars. The scientific community, in its stunned silence, is beginning to pivot. We are no longer just astronomers. We are first contact specialists, a role we never asked for, and one we are profoundly unprepared for. But the universe does not wait for us to be ready. It simply arrives. And 3I Atlas has arrived. a kilometer-wide accelerating technological fact. Its strange light is the glow of a technology so ancient it defies our imagination. And I, the elder observer, must now learn to observe this. A new sky, a new set of rules, a new reality. This forces us to contemplate our own existence in this now crowded cosmos. If such things are possible, what else is drifting in the dark? This is the true existential weight of the November 2nd update. The mystery of the universe is no longer something distant. It is here, passing silently through our home. The scientific community will debate these radical hypotheses for years, perhaps decades to come. But the burden of proof has fundamentally shifted, a seismic change in our intellectual landscape. The data is insistent, and it has made it impossible to cling to our old, comfortable assumptions of an empty cosmos. The data is clear. The engine, whatever its nature, is on. The visitor is active. This forces us to move beyond the technical what and why of the object itself. We must now confront the so what. What does this mean for us, the fragile, stunned observers? This is the most difficult part of the story, the moment of human reflection. Because this object, this impossible artifact, is not just a discovery. It is an interstellar mirror, and in its strange, bright, and ancient light, it forces us to see a reflection of ourselves. It reflects our profound and deeply felt cosmic loneliness, a solitude we've sensed since we first looked up. We have spent generations broadcasting our own faint signals into the great silence, just hoping for a reply. And now, that silence is answered not with a voice, but with a physical, technological presence. The mirror shows us that we are not the first. We are, in fact, arriving very late to this ancient conversation. There is a strange melancholy in this, the realization that the grand story of the universe began long before us. And perhaps it will continue long after our own civilization has faded into a silent, drifting relic. This visitor serves as a profound measure of deep time, a clock that ticks in millions of years. If it is a probe, who launched it? What long-dead star system did it once call home? Did they too look up at their sky with the same fundamental questions, the same hopes, the same fears? Perhaps this is the true connection we find, not one of language, but of a shared fundamental curiosity. The interstellar mirror also reflects our own profound fragility. This object has survived eons of travel through the void, weathering radiation and cold that we cannot even comprehend. And our entire civilization, with all its triumphs, is just a fleeting breath on a single vulnerable planet. It puts our conflicts, our borders, our small human divisions into a stark and humbling perspective. The universe, it seems, is defined by endurance, by technologies and wills that persist far beyond their creators. Does this artifact hold the memory of the ones who built it? Is its faint microwave pulse not a beacon, but a memory, the last fading song of its home? The light arriving at our telescopes is not just light, it is an echo of a life long since past. This is the true philosophical weight of 3i Atlas. It is a memento mori from the cosmos, a reminder that all things rise and all things must eventually fall. And yet, in that same thought, it speaks of a profound hope that something can endure. That an idea, a technology, or a memory can outlast the star that birthed it. This visitor did not come seeking us. It is, in all likelihood, completely indifferent to our existence. And in that indifference, there is a strange freedom. It is not a test, nor is it a judgment. It is simply a truth, a physical piece of a much larger, older, cosmic neighborhood. We are not the center of the story. We are just the ones who, for this brief moment, are able to read it. The ocean of space, which we thought was empty, is full of these drifting bottles. Messages from other islands, from other castaways, from other long-forgotten civilizations. And this one, 3i Atlas, is still, against all odds, faintly glowing. A testament to the possibility that even in the vast, cold, and absolute darkness, something survives. The reflection is complete. We are small, we are fragile, and we are demonstrably not alone. Does this new reality bring fear, or does it bring a strange, profound comfort? As an old observer, I find I feel both, a deep fear of the unknown and a quiet comfort that the loneliness is not absolute. The realization that the universe is a shared and unimaginably ancient home. This is the new reality we must now inhabit, a reality where our history is just one small thread. A thread that has just become aware of the vast interstellar tapestry it is woven into. The implications will ripple through our culture, our philosophy, our very sense of self. How do you write a future when the ancient technological past is accelerating right past your window? These are the questions 3i Atlas leaves in its silent, luminous wake. It is a profound and deeply unsettling gift from the cosmos. A gift that we must now, as a species, learn how to unpack. The mirror has shown us clearly that we are beginners. And perhaps that is the greatest, most profound wisdom it can offer us. The simple knowledge that we have so much left to learn. And the universe, after eons of silence, is finally ready to teach. We, the observers, the scientists, the dreamers, must now become the students. Students of this new, strange, and silent visitor. The interstellar mirror has done its work. It has shown us our reflection. And what we see is a species, small, new, and finally awake. This is the philosophical anchor of the entire event, the human resonance of this inhuman arrival. A moment of profound and irreversible transformation. It is the end of an old, comfortable certainty and the beginning of a vast new mystery. A mystery that we must now learn to face, not as individuals, but as a species. This shared realization is the true, lasting legacy of 3 Atlas. It is not just a visitor, it is a catalyst for our own collective awakening. The event has changed the observer, and in changing the observer, it has, in a very real sense, changed the universe itself. Because the universe is, for us, only what we are able to perceive it to be. And our perception has just been irrevocably and beautifully widened. It has widened to include the technological, the ancient, and the undeniably alien. This is the core of the human story, the slow, patient, and often painful dawning of awareness. And 3i Atlas, in its silent, accelerating passage, is the dawn. The dawn of a new and far more complex cosmic day. The reflection is complete. The philosophical weight has been processed. My long watch feels different now, less lonely, and far more significant. We are changed, and the universe is changed. A new reality, written in accelerating light and microwave pulses, is upon us. The mirror has done its work. It has shown us the vast cosmos, and in it, we have finally found our true, humble reflection. This is the core of the human story. The slow, patient dawning of awareness in an ancient, active universe. And 3D Atlas is the herald of that dawn. The soft hook has been delivered. The emotional anchor is set. We have realized that the great silence was never empty, just full of things we did not know how to see. And 3E Atlas has given us new and humbled eyes. The reflection is complete. We are aware. We are changed. My long watch, it feels less lonely and far more significant. The story of humanity has just become a chapter in a much larger narrative. A narrative that we must now, as a species, learn how to read. The interstellar mirror has done its work. It has shown us the cosmos, and in it, we have found ourselves. Small, new, and finally aware. And so the story must conclude. We move to the final act, the eternal vigil. 3D Atlas will soon reach its perihelion, its closest, most intimate point with our sun. It will be a fleeting moment of maximum illumination, a brief, fiery greeting. A moment where its ancient systems will be tested by the full force of our star. We will watch. We will record every photon, every fluctuation in its microwave heartbeat. Will it react? Will its acceleration change? Will the pulse modulate into a message? This is the final, desperate hope of every observer for a clear, undeniable sign. But the cosmos is not obligated to satisfy our curiosity. It operates on its own silent, ancient time. After that, gravity will do its work. The object will be flung back out of our system. It will begin its long, slow journey back into the interstellar darkness, leaving us behind. We will lose it. The light will grow too faint, the pulse will fade back into the static, and we will be left alone once more. But the word alone will have a new and far heavier meaning. It will no longer be the loneliness of simple solitude. It will be the loneliness of absence, the ache of a profound, transformative encounter that has ended. We will be haunted by the memory of this visitor. My watch as the elder observer will continue. The dome will still open to the night sky. But I will no longer be watching the familiar clockwork patterns of my home. My sky, our sky, is now forever changed. It has been revealed as a crossroads, an interstellar highway. And 3 Atlas was just one traveler. This is the new vigilance. This is the eternal watch. We will watch, we will listen, and we will wait for the next one, because the data now proves that there will be a next one. The great silence has been broken. The sky is not empty. It is full of ghosts, full of ancient echoes, and full of active, accelerating mysteries. My watch is now eternal. The vigil for 3 Atlas will end. But the vigil for the cosmos, the new active cosmos, has only just begun. We are now a species that knows it is not alone. And that single piece of knowledge changes absolutely everything. The burden of this new truth is now ours to carry. The data from 3I Atlas will be archived, a single file containing a revolution, a few numbers that rewrote our place in the universe. The acceleration, the clean spectrum, the pulse. This is the legacy it leaves behind. And my job as the observer is to sit back now and simply contemplate what it all means. The long night continues, but it is no longer an empty night. It is an expectant night, a night full of distant travelers. And we are the lighthouse keepers, finally aware of the ships passing in the dark. It is a beautiful and terrifying thought, and it is now the truth. The story of 3 Atlas is not an end. It is a profound and violent beginning. The beginning of our true cosmic story. The story of a species that just learned that the ocean is full, and that we are not the only ones who learn to build boats. This is the wisdom of the elder observer, the final wisdom of perspective. And the perspective is now infinite. The sky awaits, and my watch continues. For the next strange light, the next impossible fact, the next silent messenger. It is a good night to be watching, perhaps the most important night in all of human history. The vigil is set, the cosmos has revealed itself, and we are here to bear witness in all its terrifying and magnificent truth. The journey of 3I Atlas will continue into the void, but its legacy will remain here, etched into our data, into our minds, and into the very fabric of our new reality. The sky I see now is not the sky I knew yesterday. It is alive with possibility, and with the echoes of others. The eternal watch begins. A watch for the lights that do not belong. A watch for the travelers. A watch for the silent evidence of mind. The dome is quiet. The light of 3 Atlas is faint on the screen. And I am here, content in this new and profound mystery. The vigil continues. The sky is vast, and for the first time, it does not feel empty. The journey of 3I Atlas will take it back into the cold, silent dark from which it came. It leaves us with a fractured understanding and a universe that is suddenly, profoundly more complex. My long watch at this telescope is nearly over, but I'm grateful to have lived to see this. To see the night I knew give way to a new, strange, and wondrous darkness filled with the whispers of others. The vigil is set. The cosmos has revealed itself. And we are here to bear witness in all its terrifying and magnificent truth. The journey of 3I Atlas will continue, but its legacy is forever etched into our data and our minds. The acceleration, the clean spectrum, the pulse. This is the evidence of our new reality. The long night continues, but it is no longer an empty night. It is an expectant night, full of travelers, and we are the lighthouse keepers. We are finally aware of the ships passing in the dark. It is a beautiful and terrifying thought, and it is, from this day forward, the truth. The story of 3I Atlas is not an end. It is a profound and transformative beginning. It is the beginning of our true cosmic story. The story of a species that has just learned that the ocean is full, and that we are not the only ones who learn to build boats. This is the wisdom of the elder observer, the final wisdom of perspective. And that perspective is now infinite. The sky awaits, my watch continues, for the next strange light, for the next impossible fact, for the next silent messenger. It is a good night to be watching, perhaps the most important night in all of human history. The vigil is set, the cosmos has revealed itself, and we are here to bear witness to its magnificent and terrifying truth. The journey of 3I Atlas will continue back into the void, but its legacy will remain here, etched into our data, our minds, and into the very fabric of our new shared reality. The sky I see now is not the sky I knew yesterday. It is alive with possibility and with the echoes of others. The eternal watch begins, a watch for the lights that do not belong, a watch for the travelers, a watch for the silent, irrefutable evidence of mind. The dome is quiet, the light of 3 Atlas is faint on the screen, and I am here as the observer, content in this new and profound mystery. The vigil continues, the sky is vast, and for the first time in my entire life, it does not feel empty. The journey of 3 Atlas will take it back into the cold, silent dark from which it came. It leaves us with a fractured understanding and a universe that is suddenly, profoundly more complex. My long watch at this telescope is nearly over, but I'm grateful to have lived to see this. To see the night I knew give way to a new, strange, and wondrous darkness filled with the whispers of others. The vigil is set, the cosmos has revealed itself, and we are here to bear witness in all its terrifying and magnificent truth. The journey of 3I Atlas will continue, but its legacy is forever etched into our data and our minds. The acceleration, the clean spectrum, the pulse, this is the evidence of our new reality. The long night continues, but it is no longer an empty night. It is an expectant night, full of travelers, and we are the lighthouse keepers. We are finally aware of the ships passing in the dark. It is a beautiful and terrifying thought, and it is from this day forward the truth. The story of 3I Atlas is not an end. It is a profound and transformative beginning. It is the beginning of our true cosmic story. The story of a species that has just learned that the ocean is full, and that we are not the only ones who learn to build boats. This is the wisdom of the elder observer, the final wisdom of perspective. And that perspective is now infinite. The sky awaits, my watch continues, for the next strange light, for the next impossible fact, for the next silent messenger. It is a good night to be watching, perhaps the most important night in all of human history. The vigil is set, the cosmos has revealed itself, and we are here to bear witness to its magnificent and terrifying truth. The journey of 3I Atlas will continue back into the void, its mission unknown, its origin a mystery, but it leaves us with the knowledge that the sky is not silent, only waiting, and our own long watch has just begun.